Hey there, y'all. Figured I'd put out a video here for the afternoon. Uh, Looks like, people made some money in the stock market today, which is fantastic. Some of these Israeli companies, Israeli stocks, definitely had a good day. Ticker HUBC. I played that one, multiple times in the past and made some pretty good money on it. And I think it went up to like 150% today. And I know a couple of people that made really big money on that. Congrats to them. And then we had a PRZO, which it was actually an IPO, an Israeli IPO, not that long ago. And I didn't get in on that IPO because most of the time, you know, American, Israeli, and Australian IPOs just really suck on day one. They're usually trash from the get go, and the only reason these things are running is because of the new war that Israel is going into. So, um, you know, and I was up at 1 a.m. 1:30 this morning. That's when my pre market begins, and I thought about buying PRZO at a buck 40. I was like, yeah, this thing could probably run like a champ today, and I could probably make a shit ton of money on this thing, but I decided not to, and I wish I had, because it last time I looked at it, I think it was up around like $2.80 or something like that. And I was like, damn. But it is what it is. I intentionally not uh, day trading for the most part, just because things are just so up in the air and anything can really happen. But I'm just sticking with those IPOs that I'm really confident in. So I'm definitely looking forward to PMEC tomorrow. Got a pre-order in on that. Now, as far as the outlook for the week, I think that we're probably going to see, certain stocks will do well and a lot will do terrible. These Israeli stocks, they could, not necessarily the ones that ran today, but different ones, they could continue to have, spikes, up, people trading them in high volume this week, and some money could be made. I'm personally just going to stay out of them, but it's definitely something to be on the lookout for, especially early on. So in early on in the day is what I mean by that. Get up as early as you can and be looking for whatever has the most volume running into it. If it's something with news, that's even better. Because in these crap markets, most people they're wanting to, they all just kind of dogpile into one or two tickers. So, if you have two tickers that are moving, well, even if you just have to pick between one of the two, your chances are, all right, I'd say. It's just my opinion. But, the likelihood of having success there is pretty good. Um, that's not to necessarily say for when the market is booming everywhere, you'll have like multiples that will run up 20 to 50%, but you won't get those 100 to 200 to 300 or 400% bangers like you would otherwise. Everybody's making money because all these tickers are up, which is awesome, but you don't get that effect is what I'm getting at. So anyway, and then energy stocks, I'd definitely be on the watch. I'd be watching those because with all this going on now, it wouldn't surprise me to see, you know, uh, well up towards. Well, I mean, for all you poor bastards down there in California, you're already paying $6 or $7 a gallon, but it's because you guys decided to vote in liberal communist, so you kind of get what you deserve. You know what I mean? I don't feel sorry for any of you down there. If you want change, boot all those corrupt politicians the hell out. drag them out if you have to, you know, because you can't vote them out. I've been trying to tell this to people for years. Your vote does not freaking matter. It never did. It hasn't for a long, long, long time. And that's just the reality of it. Now, you know, up north here in Oregon, you know, we're a little bit better off. We only have gas prices of, you know, around $4 to $4.50 a gallon. But now that we got this new war between Israel and Palestine, which it's not going to stay just a war between Israel and Palestine. I'll get to that. But, you know, we're definitely going to be looking at higher gas prices just because there's going to be all this chaos in the Middle East. And every single president has basically made us dependent on the Middle East for our resources. So, you know, fully expect the price of oil. You know, OPEC has a big, you know, they're a big player. And, you know, oil in itself, a lot of people don't even understand it. You know, Americans think that, oh, well, we just need to pump for ourselves and, you know, we'll be fine. Well, that's not even how it works. If you actually knew how it works and you did some research, you would understand that every country that's pumping oil is basically dumping it into one big pool that the world feeds off of. So, in other words, the more you contribute to that pool, well, guess what? The more you're going to have, and the less it's not going to be as valuable. So, you know, pricing, you know, you basically you're far exceeding demand, so you can bring the prices down. So when America's pumping oil, we're adding to the pool, and then, you know, the oil prices come down. But in no way, shape, or form are we ever just pumping for ourselves. That's a total farce in itself. You know, so go learn something. But anyway, you know, I fully expect that this is going to get out of control. Israel's already basically announced that they're going to, you know, launch this full-scale assault on Gaza, and you know, it's just I absolutely cannot tolerate the mainstream media, liberal or conservative side, because they spin things in such a way it's just they deceive everybody and they're total liars. And you know, to say that this was entirely unprecedented and unprovoked and this and that, it's a lie, period. Israel's been stepping on the toes of Palestinians and lots of other people around there for centuries. And you know, I see a lot of people, they'll refer to, you know, they'll say that, you know, well, it's a land-based battle ultimately. It's like, no, it's really not. This is where I really want to correct people, because it is, but it really isn't, down to the core. Now they are, you know, and always have been fighting over land, but that's not the big, you know, that's just a fraction of the bigger picture here. Now, what you have to understand is, you know, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, the Jews were going into other countries and basically forcing their currency upon those people, okay? And in the process, they were pissing people off by devaluing that country's currency and making it worthless. You know, kind of what the United States does around the world right now. That's what I'm getting at. And, you know, with our fiat dollar, we basically go around and tell people, okay, your currency now has to be pegged to our dollar, making, you know, making your currency susceptible to any type of manipulation that we deem fit. And it's absolutely disgusting. But you know, that's what it all boils down to, is money and power. And if you control everybody's currency, well, then you basically control everybody, don't you? Because money makes the world go round, period. There is no disputing that. And I'd like to see you try. You know, so we're basically a pawn for Israel. And, that's the way it's been for over a century. And if you actually want to do some deep research and actually learn something and not buy into what mainstream media is feeding you, you will come to the understanding that the Jews are not what they seem. And eventually all this is going to be brought to the light. And, you know, the Jews, they were persecuting their own. Um, you know, just, I'd say 4 or 5 decades before World War II. And it was all an agenda that led up to World War II. So, you know, we're watching history kind of repeat itself in a way, and it's absolutely just atrocious. I'm just fed up with all politicians. They're all warmongers, flat out. I don't care which one it is. Um, they're all just wicked as hell. And, you know, I know that's kind of a rant there, but you need to really like focus in on what the truth is and figure it out. I've been trying to tell people this crap for years, and now people are finally beginning to get it, but they're still not quite getting it. And, it's like, even Christians, it's like they back up the Jews 100%. And it's like, I really don't understand why. I really don't get it. Basically, somehow, we've been led to believe that the Jews are God's people. Where in the Bible does it say that? Because I've read it and I can't find it. So, unless it was in the Bible, I'm not going to frickin' believe it. Period. And, then we have, we have just the fact alone that the Jews were the ones that executed Christ. So, they didn't believe in him. And guess, if you know any historical fact behind Jesus Christ and, who he was, where he came from, he was not a Jew, okay? He was a Palestinian. And his followers, his disciples, they were not Jews. Some of them were Palestinian and some of them weren't. But, you need to go, man, it's just, I wish they taught this crap to people in school because, then people would actually know the truth. Just pisses me off. That's why my daughter's homeschooled. She has grandma, right on top of it. And, she's way brighter and way ahead over any other children. It's just amazing. And I look at other people's kids and it's like, wow, that's what we're bringing into the world. That's who's going to be running society in the next 20, 30 years. God, we're pretty much fucked. It's just ridiculous. All right, well, I'm going to stop there before I get too much more out of control here. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. If you like, hearing whatever you're hearing, subscribe, I guess. Anyhow, I'll talk to y'all later.